Hey, let's try this again.
Sorry about that, man. Just to bring folks checking this out online up to steam. I live in like a canyon here in northern Nevada, and we're having a huge windstorm today. And for
Oh,
whatever
wow.
reason, when it gets super, super windy, the power will just shut down in the entire neighborhood. So that's what happened about 5 minutes into
Awesome.
the
That's
interview.
fun.
Yeah, no doubt. Hey, so congratulations, World on Fire, a dynamite track.
Thank
It's
you.
it's found at daughtryofficial.com. How did the song come to be in this age of lockdown where we're all quarantining and separated and stuff?
Yeah, well, ironically enough, the song was written before quarantine, before the pandemic. We wrote it back in January. Um, and we didn't have the band on it, so I ended up having to get them to all do their parts at home respectively in their own studios, and that was new for us. We've never had to do that. And it was just weird how lyrically it was written before any of this stuff, and it seemed to like all make its way into the song. And then not only did it make its way in the song, but it all like came to fruition. It was weird. It's like we told the future. But it was evident after listening to it and seeing how relevant the lyrics were that this had to be the first single.
Mhm.
And we wrote it back when Australia was burning, and there was other police brutality even then, and we were kind of just touching on the state of the world then. And so it's just, as a songwriter, you kind of you never know if what you're writing is about what's happening or what's going to happen. So it's weird how that played out. But
Yeah, kind of prophetic on an unfortunate way.
yeah, and now we're writing everything's going to be all right.
Yeah,
Still
good, good,
trying to
good. So
speak that
yeah,
into existence.
the song came out a while ago, and jumping on the website, I didn't see a whole hell of a lot about a whole new album. What's the status on a full album coming out and all that?
We're significantly behind on that.
Yeah.
We were gaining some momentum back in end of last year, early this year, and then everything just got shut down. And it's kind of, I think everybody's experiencing this now, where everybody's kind of living life very differently than they're used to. And there's this, at least for me, because I have kids and all this other responsibility of home life, it's not really conducive to writing music. Like, it, with everything going on, it doesn't feel very inspiring to sit down and write.
Unless you're gonna write
So
a Seether album that's just as dark can be.
just dark. But even then, I feel like I'm in this, like, I don't know, like, gathering mode where I'm like kind of just downloading information, and hopefully when we get back in the studio there'll be no shortage of things to write about.
Yeah, no doubt. Now, when you approach songwriting, Chris, do you start just with an acoustic guitar and then send the acoustic guitar to your bandmates and they color it up, or is it usually a collaborative effort where you just get into a room and start jamming and go, I got this little idea and this little idea, and then people will pop in? How does it work for you?
All of that.
Hmm.
I think sometimes songs start on acoustic. I've written a lot of this record so far on acoustic, but this song in particular, Scott, our producer, Scott, was we were in the studio. We were definitely in the mood to be writing a big rock song, and he said, I have a folder of a few little snippets of songs that I've started to see if anything, like, resonates with you. And I'm looking and I see one labeled fresh as fuck, and I was like, let's try this guy. And it was the intro to World on Fire. And
Yeah.
you know at the at the time, we were, like I said, Australia was burning, and we were just kind of sitting around talking about it. And I was like, man, the whole world's on fire, man. It's with the culmination of everything that was going on. And we were like, there's the song title right there.
Yeah.
And we just started riffing back and forth, and it kind of kind of wrote itself after that.
I've been blown away by how artists have had to almost recreate the industry that has been around for so many decades. And you're doing something really interesting with this virtual tour. Explain that a little bit.
Yeah, well, we did it. We wrapped it up back in September, I believe, and it was a lot of fun. We were itching to play, obviously, wanting to connect with the fans and engage in some fashion. And we had thought about doing like a city to city tour. And my manager was like, what if we partnered with, local venues and try to help them out during these, tough times that employees are out of work and obviously there's no shows going on. So we did that, and it was a lot of fun. The fans had a blast. We had a blast. It was a little weird, obviously, to get used to when you don't have a crowd. We're in a club, an empty club, rather, with 4 dudes, one on the camera, one, running sound, and the other 2 were my managers. And it's a little weird and daunting because, we're so used to feeding off the crowd. And I didn't realize just how much I depended on the crowd's energy for my own showmanship or performance. And it kind of dawned on me like, wow, I've been kind of putting that pressure on the crowd to kind of cultivate that energy for us instead of just having a blast and letting that energy, translate to the audience. And it took a few shows for me and my guitar player, Brian, to kind of realize that. And you're like, dude, we just need to just be having fun. Because it's awkward if you're on stage, you're used to telling stories, and then there's nobody to tell it to, or at least they're there, but you can't see them. So it's this weird. I can't hear them. You can hear crickets in between songs. It was a weird thing to get used to, but we had a ton of fun as we got more comfortable with it, and it was great. I don't think it'll ever take the place of the live experience, and I certainly hope it does not. We're all itching to get out there and get to some sort of normalcy.
Yeah, absolutely. Being a rocker, was it a shock for you personally to advance so far in American Idol? Did you think that you would go to that level where you're one of the top 4 finalists, and had to have been kind of a mind trip? Yeah,
it was. Initially I was like, maybe if I even get on, I'm probably gonna last a couple weeks, and then at least my name will be out there. And and I knew I was picking songs that weren't like the mainstream, wasn't on top 40. And so I was a little shocked that I made it past the Fuel song, you know what I mean?
yeah.
Because it wasn't what you think of when you think of American Idol. It wasn't stylistically, it wasn't a popular song in those circles. So it was a bit of a shock, but then I think I got kind of used to the idea that maybe this is something that people want. Maybe this is something that people are wanting to hear out there, and I'm somehow filling that void that hasn't been on the show. So it kind of kept perpetuating the confidence, as took it week to week. And so at the end, you're there's this moment where you're like, well, maybe I can win this. You start getting far enough and you start to believe it. So but it was definitely not my intention to win in the beginning.
Yeah, I've had a few friends that are from the area here, or Salt Lake City, which is our neighboring state, who have gone on like The Voice and said, it's so weird, like all of the judges have got their handlers and you can't have their cell phone numbers. So they might be your mentor or whatever, or you might be on that team, but there's not a lot of, like, you're not just chumming it up and going out to dinner or hanging out.
Right.
As you progress far enough, and I'm sure enough time and distance has passed, so there's non-disclosure agreements that you can talk about more freely now.
Sure.
Were you ever able to get that type of relationship with the judges on Idol?
At the end, by the end of the show, by the finale, I had everybody's phone number. Now, whether they answer it is a different.
Yeah.
Whether
Oh,
they
this
answer
guy
it,
again? Come on.
yeah. I think the last time I reached out to Randy, he replied, and the last time I reached out to Seacrest, he replied, and maybe even Paula Abdul, but I think Simon has like 10 different phone numbers.
Yeah.
So I'm sure I got the one that is non-existent
That's
at this
funny.
point. But it was definitely something where we never even saw them outside of what the audience saw. You know,
Yeah.
we saw them in front of us, and we never hung out even in a mentor capacity.
Huh, wow, what a weird thing.
It
You
was weird.
collaborated with a whole ton of great artists over the span of a career so far. Anybody that comes to mind that you enjoyed the most from your collaborations with different artists? Maybe somebody that opened your eyes or pushed you to be an even better singer, or you learned something from?
Uh, hmm. I mean, they're all so unique, each experience, you know, each collaboration. I think one of the definitely one of the moments that really, you know, resonates in my head right now is meeting Slash for the first time, and um, it was first record early in my career. I'm green right off Idol, and you know that's as big as it gets to a, you know, kid wanting to be a rock star. You know, you're in the room with Slash,
Yeah.
and he's on your record. You know, that in and of itself was a very validating experience for me. But they've all been very special in their own way. Working with Seven Dust was incredible. They're all dear friends of mine. I If we're talking singers, I mean, I've been in the vocal booth with Kelly Clarkson before, and
She's pretty
it's
brilliant.
hard. She's mind blowing how
Yeah.
good she is. It's
Yeah.
it's actually it's actually not okay. It's actually not fair.
I hear you. There's something in the
Yeah,
water down there in Texas, man. I grew up in San
yeah, I
Antonio,
agree.
so I know about it, man. Hey, so you're big on family. I know that with California, you know, threatening jail time for large gatherings. I guess that's the latest rumor today. What will Thanksgiving look like in your world this year here in a week or so?
I mean, we've been keeping a super tight circle these days, so Thanksgiving will be no different. I mean, it sucks. It's so like, even there's moments where we're like, oh, maybe we should invite so and so, and we're like, but we don't know who they've been around.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
it seems so petty, but at the same time, I mean, obviously shit's real, and I got so many people to think about when it comes to who my kids are around and who they're exposed to and who might be in danger with my mother-in-law or any older relatives. And so it's a tough, you know, thing to juggle right now. I think we're all kind of just we've kind of just resorted to the fact that it is what it is, and we're just going to have to get through this year and see what next one holds.
So it'll be a small gathering, but all the traditionals, the turkey, the stuffing, the da 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 da. I mean, you're down for all that. You guys eat
I
turkey at
mean,
home.
I don't eat meat anymore, but the family does, so I'm sure there'll be something. You know, it's weird. Like even when I ate meat, I was never a big fan of the Thanksgiving spread. Like it was,
Really?
yeah, it was. I don't know. Like I liked aspects of it. But for
What?
me, like pizza would be good. I'd be good with a pizza. I don't know. It's a
Yeah,
lot of work. It's a lot of
yeah.
work. Big family, a lot of work.
That's a little great. And I have yet to see Butterball come out with the Beyond Turkey yet. So who knows? Who
Oh
knows?
yeah, it's around the corner, I'm sure.
Yeah. What's as we wrap up this interview here, what would you say is your favorite singer guitarist alive today?
Favorite singer, guitarist. has to be the combo.
I would say so, yeah. Because I have somebody in mind. That's why I came up with I thought of the question. I'm curious as to who you might pick for that.
Wow. Favorite of all, that's such a hard thing for me because I go from I'm very mood driven when it comes to what I'm into at the moment. You know, I'm God, singer. Most of my favorite singers don't play guitar. Singer guitar player combo. Are you talking about singer and guitar player, or singer that plays guitar?
Either one. We can say either
Okay.
one.
I mean, Joe Perry and Steven Tyler are definitely still at the top of the list for me.
Does not get much better than that. I agree.
Yeah.
One last question here. What piece?
Who were you thinking?
Oh, I love John Mayer, and I feel so bad that I got to see John Mayer at the pinnacle of his voice and playing abilities, and because of all the vocal surgeries that he's had, he for whatever reason can't hit the note, and he has such a great range and this whispery airiness to his voice that he just can't hit anymore, and it saddens
Oh wow,
me
I didn't know that. Oh,
to see that.
sucks.
Yeah, he just released a 2019 not greatest hits, but greatest something or other, this live show. And I noticed watching this 2-hour long video that his bass player, his side guitarist is hitting most of the big notes. And John there's just an electricity. There's something indescribable about watching him now that it's just not quite the same. So, but anyway.
Yeah, and I saw him on the Heartbreak Warfare tour, and he was incredible.
Phenomenal. Yeah, great player.
So good.
Yeah, great singer. If you had one piece of advice for a garage band vocalist today, a kid, 15, 16 years of age, what would that be?
Don't be afraid to suck.
Yeah.
Play all your favorites, man. Learn your favorite stuff and try your best. I mean, for me, like, I think every artist or singer goes through a phase where they're emulating their heroes, and I think that's an important part of the process of developing your own voice and finding where yours fits in with all of that. And I remember as a kid just singing along to all of my favorite records: Super Unknown, Throwing Copper from Live, and Dirt, Alice in Chains, and like those albums were so like so formative in my finding my voice growing up. So I think that's important. I think it's important to feel that freedom to suck. Like, you don't have anybody like judging you. You need to have your space to be free and really find that, because it's an intimidating process if you've got, if you're not surrounded by a support system that really believes in what you do. It's kind of difficult, especially with kids online these days, and you're seeing comments, and it's so easy to, like, I didn't have that. I didn't have any the internet barely existed when I was starting out, So there was nobody telling me that I was terrible. And I'm sure there were moments that would have been warranted. So just have the freedom and to really work out the kinks.
Yeah. All right. Well, one piece of advice from me to you as we wrap up this interview here, if you have some time today, go out and check out the Mammoth WVH Wolfgang Van Halen.
Yes.
Look for the video. You got to watch the video first, the video version of the song, and have some tissues handy. And his Wolfgang's voice is incredible. I never knew the kid had that kind of voice on him, but
oh wow, I can't wait to hear it now.
It's a good one. Chris Daughtry, congratulations on everything, man.
So much,
had a hell of a career. And World on Fire, again, found now at daughtryofficial.com. Can't wait to hear the whole album when you guys are ready to release it, man.
Awesome, man. Thank you so much. Good to talk to you.
Likewise. Thanks for the time today.
All right. Be well.
All right, see you later.